You know, some of the monuments are made out of Gettysburg granite or, you know, New Hampshire granite, and you can read on them where they're from. And this one is actually made in Connecticut. You can see the company that made the monument. This is the 20th Connecticut Infantry. And again, they were part of this brigade. And on the morning of July 3rd, this unit was sent ahead to try to skirmish with the Southerners in preparation for the retaking of the entrenchments. But this unit, like the other units in the brigade, had a problem. As they were moving into position on July 3rd, Union artillery at Powers Hill. And again, it's clear today, and I can see through the woods, and I can actually see the summit of Powers Hill, where 12th Corps artillery was throwing shells into this area, trying to drive the Southerners out of it. And a good amount of their shells were falling short, and the 20th Connecticut suffered heavily from artillery fire from their own guns. And it got so bad, the lieutenant colonel of this unit at one point threatened to turn the regiment around and charge his own artillery if they didn't stop the shelling. Another interesting thing about the 20th Connecticut Volunteers is that Matthew Broderick, the actor who was well known as playing Colonel Robert Gould Shaw in the movie Glory, actually had a great-great-great-grandfather in the Civil War, and that relative was in the 20th Connecticut Infantry and was killed during the Atlanta campaign during the Civil War. And then there's the story of George Washington Warner of this unit. During the attack on July 3rd, in the attempt to recapture the entrenchments, an artillery shell exploded nearby. And Warner's right arm was ripped off and thrown to the side of him, and his left arm was so badly mangled that it had to be amputated. He lost both arms, and again to his own artillery fire, but he survived the war. He was very popular with the veterans of the regiment, and as can be seen in this photograph, he went on to father 3 additional children after the Civil War. And at the dedication ceremony of the 20th Connecticut Monument in 1885, they actually designed a special apparatus with a pulley on a tree, and he actually walked away from the monument and unveiled the flag off of the monument at the ceremony. And of course, we have a photograph taken of the veterans at the dedication, and George Warner is sitting right at this very spot on this rock in the photograph. So another unit in this brigade is the 3rd Maryland Infantry. And I wanted to mention that Matthew Broderick is not the only famous person to have a relative in this brigade. My great-great-great-grandfather, Conrad Mall, was in the 3rd Maryland Infantry, raised in Baltimore. Now, even though the obituary of my great-great-grandfather says he was at the Battle of Gettysburg, he did not join this unit until 1864. So he was not at the battle. But I'm sure a lot of people have relatives in the Civil War. If you had relatives that lived in the country at that time, there's probably a good chance that you had Civil War relatives, either, you know, a great-great-great-grandfather or an uncle of someone that fought. And you can go to the National Archives, you can pull their pension record, you can learn about their Civil War service, you can follow them through the course of the Civil War. Of course, my relative, like many others, was not wounded in battle. He suffered from chronic diarrhea. the ailment that many soldiers were inflicted with after the war. Now, just to end our video, I mentioned 123rd New York, member of Company K of the 123rd New York, wrote about the Battle of Gettysburg for a local newspaper on August 18th, 1863. And looking back on it, he wrote, "Here, on the 3rd of July, was rung the death knell of Lee's hopes and of slavery. Its base belched forth from the mouths of more than 200 Union cannon, while thousands of small arms caught up the inspiration and played the tenor and treble. The severest fighting was had on the afternoon of the 3rd of July. This was the time when Greek met Greek. The field of Gettysburg for many centuries will be redolent with the historical reminiscence and sacred beyond any soil made red with the blood of freedom's martyrs." Let us consider that our generation comes early in the nation's history. Its shadow, lengthened by the morning light, will fall far beyond the scanty pan of our narrow existence. That's really deep. So remember, if you like the content that we provide on our YouTube channel, please hit the like and subscribe and share this video with your friends.